About the potential for freezing temperatures the end of next week. We're on your side with when we're expecting them and when and how you can prepare.
And Tropical Storm Sarah has formed in the Caribbean. We're telling you the latest on that track and if the system could bring us impacts and where it could potentially make a landfall over the next few days.
Plus, we're going to take you along with us to a workshop where we learn how to better serve our communities in the event of severe weather.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And thank you for staying with us for Weather Extra, joined again by Tania. And out there tonight, bright full moon overhead, really cleared out. We had some rain last night, which was very nice to see.
Yeah, beautiful night to look up at the sky. It's also a little chilly.
Yeah.
So if you're out late tonight, I would grab the sweater or the jacket.
So I think we know what the next big thing is, right? Some colder air. Let's talk about it. And hey, the winds have picked up still. It's kind of breezy out there. That's going to add to the chill across the area, and that wind's going to settle down just a little bit later on tonight. But let's talk, first off, I want to show you this. Our weather watchers checking in. Look at these rainfall totals. Hey, not too bad. Over an inch of rain at West Blockton and Bibb County, almost an inch in East Alabama at Oxford. Jerry Peak checking in. There's Talladega, nearly an inch of rain. Look at Pell City, Bobby Rowe there. Piedmont, almost an inch of rain. West Alabama in Walker County, Oakman, almost 2 inches of rain, but certainly over 2 inches there for Lamar County. John King and Shelby County, over an inch of rain. So hey, we will certainly take it, right? It's not going to end the drought, but that was one of the more impressive rain events that we've had around here in months. And we have another system. Look at that. Rain returns on Tuesday. One of the next big things, we're going to be tracking a system. But until then, we got some cold mornings. Expect 40s out the door for tomorrow morning. We're going to be tracking some colder air in that extended forecast. Let's talk a little bit more about tomorrow and out the door. Notice 45 around Anniston in the morning, some 40s to the north, so time to kind of readjust that thermostat for some cold starts. The afternoon tomorrow will be in the 60s, not too warm out there, certainly more seasonal for this time of the year, but we will see a nice improvement with sunshine for tomorrow. So the out the door checklist, you'll need the shades, also the jacket for early in the day, but no need for the umbrella for tomorrow. Also looks like that dry weather again will carry over into this weekend. Well, we mentioned it, Tropical Storm Sarah, here it is. That system formed, and it looks like by early next week, Monday, perhaps this thing could be crossing the Yucatan. If it does survive the track, there is a chance that we could see this system or what's left of it, some of that moisture cross the Gulf of Mexico. And Tania, that is one thing. I know you were bringing in some new model data. We want to give you the weather extra and just show you what some of the models show with this over the next few days.
Yeah, listen, I think there's some good things to talk about when it comes to Tropical Storm Sarah. As you can see, it's eventually expected to weaken back down to a low pressure system, and the Euro model shows that it doesn't look very defined, maybe bringing some showers through the Gulf and impacting Florida and parts of the southeast middle next week. So that's the Euro model, that's the European model, one of the weather models that we use, and eventually it's just leftover rain dissipating in the eastern Atlantic. Now the GFS model still shows this system moving across Campeche, Cancun, and then into the Gulf of Mexico, again bringing some moderate to heavy downpours for the Florida area, but I'm not really seeing a very defined tropical system there. So that's the good news about it. We're going to continue to watch it over the next several days, but I think the one thing that's helping us out with the development of this system is that it's starting to get colder. The temperatures are getting cooler. The ocean waters aren't as warm, and keep in mind, it takes those warm ocean waters to help fuel those tropical systems. So we're nearing the end of hurricane season, getting very close, the end of this month and end of November, but we'll continue to give you updates on Tropical Storm Sarah as the days move ahead. In New York, though, multiple fire agencies are working to extinguish a massive brush fire burning in an upper Manhattan park. It's one of the several such fires that have burned in other city parks recently, blaze that are mainly fueled by drought conditions. Laura Geary brings us more from New York officials.
The brush fire in Manhattan's Inwood Hill Park erupted again overnight after fire teams battled most of Wednesday to get it under control. The fire commissioner says more than 100 firefighters are grappling with rough terrain, limited water access, and collapsing trees in the fight. Across the Hudson River, fire crews are making headway on containing a deadly wildfire in New Jersey.
New Jersey's saying 50%, we're down closer to 30. Hopefully after today's burn operations, that number will be definitely increased.
The Jennings Creek fire has burned thousands of acres along the New Jersey-New York state line in recent days, and authorities say it's claimed at least one life, an 18-year-old firefighter. The region's worst drought in decades is being blamed for the fire conditions, but what may vary is their ignition.
Without lightning being present or any sort of a spontaneous combustion that might have occurred, over 90% of our fires are realistically some sort of human activity in the area.
A Long Island volunteer firefighter has been arrested and charged with arson after investigators say he was captured on home security cameras allegedly setting fire near a neighborhood.
The man got out, went in the woods, ran back in his car, and seconds later it was on fire.
The suspect could face even more charges.
There were a number of these very concerning brush fires are all similar in nature, so we're going to continue to look at that.
In Manhattan, New York fire officials are hopeful rain in the forecast could provide some much-needed relief to their efforts soon. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And we are talking about the rainfall, but first, the extreme drought conditions also bringing worries for many farmers across southeastern New Jersey. As the state continues to go through the worst drought they've seen in over 20 years with little to no measurable rainfall in 40 days, farmers are trying to prepare one crop before the Thanksgiving holidays, and that's cranberries. Cranberry bogs are filled with water so the fruit can float to the top, but with little to no water, it's hard to say what impacts will be. Some farmers say that even though the situation is uncertain for now, and especially for next year's crops, they are optimistic that the rain will come again. And speaking of rain, the opposite occurring in North Carolina, where they're seeing heavy rainfall today for the first time since Hurricane Helene. A developing coastal system is causing flooding in South and North Carolina, with the National Weather Service in Greenville, Spartanburg, saying the forecast will bring breezy conditions and rain across the region. And as you can see here on this map, along North Carolina's east coast, they can see anywhere up to 4 inches of rainfall, and a little bit further inland 2 inches, with a little bit of wet weather pushing further inland. But either way, it's not the best situation for them, especially since they're still trying to rebuild and recover after Hurricane Helene. Wes?
Hey, Tania, so that means that the new drought monitor is out. However, we know we had rain last night, so already we're going to need to update the drought monitor, but we'll have the latest for you in 30 seconds. Stay with us.
All right, everyone. Welcome back in. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Tania Michelle here. Take a look at those low temperatures overnight tonight. If you stepped outside, you probably noticed a little chilly out there. I would grab the sweater jacket for any late Thursday night plans that you may have, but temperature is really going to deep dive into the 40s overnight. We bring in your early Friday morning, another morning that you're going to want to have the extra layers with you. Temperatures in the 40s, could see some low 40s out there, closer to mid 40s though. 46 in Jefferson County, 47 in Tuscaloosa, 45 in Clay. It's going to be chilly, but even colder as we bring in the weekend mornings. Take a look at Saturday morning, low 40s in the forecast, looking like that coldest morning of the week. And then we bring in those afternoon highs, upper 60s, low 70s Sunday, but again, a cold Sunday morning. So if you're heading to church Sunday, I would pull out one of those nice fancy coats, mid 40s there heading out the door. That's a look at that weekend forecast. Chief Meteorologist Wes White will have a look at the 7-day coming up in a couple of minutes.
All right, Tania, and we did receive the latest drought monitor, which doesn't include all the rain we had last night, but you can see where it was really getting rough out there. Parts of West Alabama, we had extreme drought conditions developing, but we talked about this. We knew we would see some of those more extreme levels as dry as October was around here, but we're starting to get into a more active pattern. I just want to show you the radar estimates over the past 24 hours. We checked in with our weather watchers, but there was a nice swath of rain over 1 inch for areas to the northwest, and then we had another area south of Tuscaloosa where we saw some of those heavier rainfall amounts stretching through Shelby County and also into East Alabama. You can see a nice coverage all across the area. Very nice to see, but we need more rain, and we do have more rain that we will talk about in our forecast. But some of the First Alert weather team today traveled down to Chilton County to attend the National Weather Service's Integrated Warning Team workshop today. It includes local broadcasters and meteorologists, government meteorologists, emergency management officials, educators, and school administrators, all from around the region, met at Jefferson State Community College in Chilton County to discuss different ways to help vulnerable and underserved communities. And speakers reflected on the events like the Selma and Beauregard tornadoes and how we can build a more resilient Alabama when impactful weather strikes. New research from Auburn University shows that from 1950 to 2023, Alabama leads the country with the highest number of tornado fatalities per state. So it's great to have these meetings to better prepare for, that fall severe weather season. It's just always a matter of when, not will it happen. So we need to be prepared. Tania?
Absolutely, Wes. I 100% agree. Well, in County Line, you have a brand new town hall and storm shelter to protect you in the event of severe weather. Leaders holding a grand opening today for the new building, which will serve as both a town hall and storm shelter. We brought you the groundbreaking for this facility a little over a year ago. It's built right next to the site of the previous town hall.
I've never had a doubt in my mind because I felt in my heart that this was what God wanted us to have. I think this is the very thing that County Line needed. We are small, but we're a strong community.
Oh, so sweet and gorgeous too. The town hall will also serve as a community center and satellite communication center for deputies. Well, we're going to take you around the world now to Spain, where new storms are leaving parts of the country flooded just 2 weeks after the eastern region faced devastating flash flooding. Check out this footage from the Malaga province. You can see the streets flooded and cars driving through the waters. Oh my goodness, crazy. The heavy rain forcing school closures, train cancellations, and evacuations for 3,000 people. The weather also delaying the Billie Jean King Cup tennis finals between Spain and Poland. Thankfully, there have been no reports of fatalities so far. Well, don't go anywhere. Still ahead, we tell you about the cooler temperatures to start off your Friday morning. And we're talking about the wonders of Kelvin Helmholtz clouds in your moment of science. We'll be right back.
All right, it's starting to feel chilly out there right now, and it's going to be cold tomorrow morning. Let's walk you through that hourly forecast, taking you into early Friday. And the lows down into the 40s, maybe even as low as 43, some of our coldest locations. I don't think we'll go much colder than that. Rest of the day, we'll see those highs in the 60s with sunshine, so the rest of the day looks incredible. Need to finish up a big job out there. Looks like we're going to have dry weather into the afternoon. Chilly tomorrow night, heading to some of the high school games, some playoff games. 68 for a high on Saturday, but again, another cold start. Look at Saturday morning. May see some 30s on the map. This even shows 39 there around Silicaca and Pell City. Jasper showing around 38 degrees there early Saturday morning. So if we see 37, 38 degrees, we might have a little bit of frost in a few spots out there early Saturday morning. That's the one thing we need to watch for, but giving you that first alert. Sunday, again, a chilly start. Afternoon highs around 70. Maybe not quite as cold, but still could see early Sunday morning a few 30s there on the map later in the day. As Tania was talking about on Monday, we'll be watching that tropical system, and if Sarah is expected to weaken quite a bit as it moves across the Yucatan Peninsula. If it maintains strength and holds together, what's left of that may turn back towards the northeast. It's going to encounter some wind shear, not a favorable environment over the Gulf for development as it moves north, because we have a cold front that's really going to shake things up next week. It's going to bring another big drop in temperatures, another chance for wet weather, and check it out. The data today even looks more impressive with that chance for rain on Tuesday. Could see this come around early in the day over West Alabama, and then that rain will slowly make its way through into the afternoon and evening. Maybe some leftover showers on Wednesday. What happens later next week as we see an upper trough dig in across the region and become established, that's going to bring a lot of clouds, keep those daytime temperatures down. Notice we go high of 62 Wednesday, high of 55 Thursday, and beyond the 7-day, you'll be seeing temperatures struggling to break out of the 40s next Friday, so a lot colder. And in the long range, the overnight lows could take a tumble, more widespread 30s that we'll be talking about in that long range forecast. But very dry at the moment, the sky clearing out, and just got this photo in from Ricky Jones in Bremen, and you can see a view out there tonight. That is another view of this supermoon. It is a full supermoon, and this is actually going to be the last supermoon of this year, but the November moon, also called the November beaver moon, which got its name because November is when beavers prepare for the winter by strengthening their dams and storing more food. So be sure to send us your pictures to the First Alert Weather app, and we'll feature those right here on Weather Extra. But the actual full moon is tomorrow night, but it's certainly bright out there tonight, Tania, and it's chilly out there as well.
It is chilly, but I got to take them beyond the 7-day for even colder conditions, Wes.
Yeah, take us. What are we seeing out there, Tania?
Well, listen, if you've been wanting 30s on the map, then hey, I guess your wish is being granted. Well, we at least hope that it may be. We're still several days out. I'm taking you beyond the 7-day. You know, things in Alabama change in a hurry. So we're just giving you that heads up, that first alert on what to expect as we move ahead. So here we are. This is Saturday this weekend. This is November the 16th. You can see across the area we're seeing some of those low 40s, even some upper 30s to the northeast, and some upper 40s are possible. Chilly morning indeed, but not as cold as next week could be. I want to bring you to next Thursday morning, just around 4 a.m. This is November the 21st. You can see some upper 30s out there and some low 40s. And then we see some 30s out there, maybe even low 30s next Saturday morning, November the 23rd. So as we look beyond the 7-day, we're looking pretty cold. Even next Sunday, November the 24th, still seeing some temperatures down there into the lower 40s and maybe some upper 30s late next weekend. So just giving you that first alert, and you can see here as we look at our temperature outlook, we zoom in November 20th through the 24th, seeing below average temperatures for a lot of the southeast, including Mississippi, us here at home, and the state of Georgia and Florida. As far as precipitation, though, still have some ways to go. It looks like the southern states from Texas and New Mexico up to the Pacific Northwest dealing with below average rainfall. It looks like some of our Midwestern states dealing with above average rainfall, East Coast above average. But as we zoom in here at home, we'll be right around near average. So hopefully, since that means we're not going to be super dry, maybe not super wet, either way, hoping we still get some wet weather to alleviate those drought conditions across the state. But now we'll be catching some waves without the surfboard. Dan Smith has a look at a rare type of cloud in your moment of science.
They're a weird sight to see in the sky if you're lucky enough to see them. This week, it's a brief primer on Kelvin-Helmholtz clouds, or KH clouds, or Fluctus clouds. There's lots of names for the same thing. Back in 1868, Hermann von Helmholtz not only had one of the best scientist names to date, but also realized a weird thing about fluid dynamics. In his words, every perfect geometrically sharp edge by which a fluid flows must tear it asunder and establish a surface of separation. In plain English, wind shear, where fluid moving at different speeds or directions, or both, causes eddies and spin-ups. Think of it like a paddle pushed through the water, causing rotation on either side. It's the same thing we look at for tornado potential, albeit with much different results. Anyway, a few years later, Lord Kelvin did the math on the whole thing while figuring out how ocean wind waves worked. Let's start with two fluid masses going in the complete opposite direction of each other. And yes, air is a fluid, just not a liquid. That flow will always have little disturbances and friction associated with it, and it starts scooping one mass over the other. Voila, your waves are formed. You need ideal conditions on windy days to get these going, and the cloud type itself doesn't actually matter. Cirrus, cumulus, stratus, all of them are part of a fluid environment. They're also a good sign of turbulence way up there, so as tempting as it might be to fly closer, pilots tend to avoid such a rocky atmosphere. Now, these wavy sights are usually short-lived and on fairly small scales, though some larger systems passing over mountain ranges can get enough turbulence going. By the way, remember Lord Kelvin with his ocean waves? There's your clue that this phenomenon is not just relegated to the sky. Fast air moving over slow water whips up those surface waves. You can even see KH instabilities on other planets, like in the Great Red Spot of Jupiter. That massive storm is a subject for another day. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Oh, so interesting and informative. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with a final check of your weather and a look at some of your lovely weather photos. Stay with us. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra.
All right, it is time for your weather photos. And how about a lovely view from White Plains, Alabama, from Nathan Harper, that's in Calhoun County, just to the east of Anniston.
And we have another picture, this one from Sandra Martin. We love your pictures. That was a sunrise in Asheville and Aniana.
Lovely sunrise photos. And Randy Cash in Chelsea, a lovely sunset there from Oak Mountain. Randy always sharing some lovely photos there and starting to see more and more of those fall colors. Well, after last night, I think all the leaves are probably in the yard by now. Right?
Literally. This one, people still getting their lake days in, even if they're just catching either a sunrise or a sunset.
Yeah.
That one from Eric Edwards.
Well, it's
Love
been
it.
so warm, lately. I mean,
It has. Yeah, the afternoons, you could still get that lake day in. Maybe not swimming in it, but
yeah.
if you're on a
little too
boat.
cold for that, right?
Yeah, if you're on a little
Well,
boat.
The temperatures in the morning in the 40s. We're not worried about frost, so you don't need to worry about that tonight. I do think later next week it's not an Arctic blast, but it's certainly the possibility we could see some freezing temperatures come back. We're going to be talking about that tonight at 9.
We sure will. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you back right here, 9 and 10.